I'm sure there are at least some of you here that are for the crafts and not BTS. So I do think this concept could be applied to a whole array of different ideas. A journal inspired by Magic Shop, the muster, the DVD case. I'm gonna make it like 2.5D. So like, try. This is very inspired by NerdForge. They do some amazing bookbinding videos, except it's the cheap version. As always in my videos, your preview is here. I'll give you an actual preview. Starting with this notebook that came into my possession from an undisclosed bank. That sounds like I robbed the bank. I did not. Why would I take a journal if I did? Beautiful message on the inside. So I'm just gonna make a cover for it. So I started off this project by building a template. We've got our cereal box, of course. Just wanna make sure that the design that I'm doing is gonna work. I truly am just arbitrarily deciding measurements here. There's gonna be a couple of different layers, and I'm going to use this giant roll of craft foam. May have been in some moving trucks, may have had somebody walk on it, and I'm just gonna measure a 3/4 inch border around the edge. Now there are sort of 3 layers to this design. The bottom layer is the door and the window above it. The middle layer is the middle windows and also the floor and the ceiling. And the top layer is the outer windows and the top signs. I only actually used 2 layers of foam. I didn't want to make it super thick. I will say you can definitely do this not using craft foam. The best material is things that you already have. It's just like this. As they always say, measure 4,000 times, cut once. You have to be kind of careful with craft foam because it does indent very easily, which is actually something that we're going to use to our advantage in this project. When I first draw the design, I try to do it very lightly just so that I make sure that everything's the way that I want it. Once I'm sure where I want the design to go, I press a lot harder and create those indentations, trying to give it a little bit more dimension. The perspective, this is kind of how it's going to look. It's fine. I went ahead and cut out all of the areas where the windows would be, of course. Went in with a yarn needle, just deepened some of the indents with that. A blunt object so it's not gonna rip the foam. We're really working from the bottom up in this project. I had to create some kind of atmosphere under the windows. Painted directly on the cover. Create almost kind of like a tie-dye effect. Purple is just like the most magical color to me. There's a little bit of blue. I needed to paint the inside edges. So much easier to do it when it's not attached. The order of operations is so important. It makes your life so much easier later. So I attached the spine first. I'm gonna use normal school glue for now. Who knows how that's gonna go? We'll find out. Was then able to more easily figure out where I needed to paint the stars in the sky. I think quite obviously I really enjoy night sky imagery. It's in so many of my projects. It's in like everything that I do pretty much. The way that I paint night skies is pretty simple with white. Create some highlight areas where I'm going to cluster stars, stipple on the stars with white paint, sort of fade them out. I wanted to do my own thing on the inside, give it some more of like a story. Basically just sketched out some different shapes and sizes of potion bottles, taped that to some plastic so that I could cut them out. Used colored gels, be semi-transparent so you could see the sky through at least a little bit. What potions are like, I say as if I have seen real life potions. Little corks to put in the top of the bottles from paperboard. And then I also just painted on highlights. Glued those things on with a glue stick because it would dry really clear. For the windows, we are attaching plastic as always. Frankensteining it from an old planner that I saved the covers from. It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! Has a little bit of a texture. Recommend super glue, but I also hate super glue, which you will see. Glued the bottom foam layer onto the cover. Then I started working on the door, which I made from paperboard. Took the door from my template, cut it out, cut the windows out. This is the one area that I think I'm gonna keep low. Scored the design on the bottom of the door. Did I measure any of these lines? Absolutely not. Wow, it looks like I did nothing. Okay, and then I started building up the form around that, where there was detail on the door. After I had glued all of the pieces on and really made the form of the door, went ahead and painted it streaky, trying to create that wood texture. Attached the plastic onto the door, made the door handle out of paperboard. Again, did the same things pretty much. The lock I just painted silver on. I also wanted to add some potions above the door in that top window. In the window of the door, that's kind of like the central area. So I made an open sign. Of course, I made it a moon. The old-fashioned moon imagery that has like faces on it. Trip to the moon, George Méliès inspired. I love that stuff so much. I can't even tell you how much I love it. Painted it gold, painted a little bit of a face on, also painted open on it, of course. And if you have the moon, you also need to have some stars. All of this was made out of paperboard. To have these hanging from the top of the door, I went ahead and attached thread to them and then attached it straight onto the cover. Come to me, please. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, that went well. And then it was time to glue the door on to the cover. I did have to do all the underneath areas for the two outer windows. Went ahead and continued the sky. Glued the potions into like the bottom of the windows. Then finally came the time that I had to draw the top design on. I put it off for as long as I could. I mean, it kind of matches, I think. Just free-handed it. No method to this madness. Continuing with the using guts from the old planner, take this gold elastic piece off and use it as a bookmark. Attach there into the back, put the foam on top of that. Using normal school glue, we attached the second layer of foam on the front. Then I needed to go ahead and finish off some of the edges. Basically, I cut triangles off the corners. Glue this down as tightly as possible, a little bit at a time. For the back cover, I think I'm just gonna cut. It's gonna look like that. 4 different panes dividing the windows. I'm gonna paint them and then glue them on. I attached them in with super glue. Super glue is honestly the bane of my existence. There's a reason that I don't use it that often. Yep, I already got it on my hands. Cool. Oh my god, I freaking hate super glue. Oh no, why did I do that? This could literally just be a 15-minute video of me just struggling with super glue. Yep, it's sticking to my finger. What else is new? Time to paint. The thing with craft foam is that it is very prone to creasing when you paint it. Since the journal, it really only bends in one area. I took paint and mixed it with fabric glue. It makes it a little bit more flexible. It doesn't make it like the best, but it does help a little bit. Every time I paint something brown, it always ends up looking like wood, and I don't know why. I'm just gonna say that I meant for it to look like wood. I do actually kind of like it though. And a lot of this paint job was definitely about layering things on because it's a little bit sheer when you paint on foam, especially with the fabric glue mixed in. This is actually beneficial though, because basically to create shadows, you can just layer on more paint. Just trying to create the depth a little bit more, the illusion. Some areas are a lot darker when they're further back, and the lighter areas are further to the front. And there are also quite a few gold details. Obviously the biggest gold detail is on the top where the sign is. Probably the hardest part to paint. I'm just here doing my best. One step takes me longer than what the entire final video will be. Gold paint, probably some of the most magical stuff in our world. I really wanted to balance the gold out, so obviously we needed to bring it to the bottom as well. And there are 2 sections on the DVD that are gold, so I went ahead and did those. Created an inside cover sheet. I painted it a light purple. So show me, I'll show you. So show me, I'll show you. Magic Shop is such a good song. I love the set designs that they did. Would love to see them do a music video in the old-fashioned fantasy style. I think it'd be so good. I wanted to do a little design on it, something simple. Made some stars in both white and a darker purple, and then I outlined them. I went ahead and glued that in. Then I need to do the final outer details. Lanterns, which I made with plastic and paperboard. Cut them out of paperboard, painted them, and then attached the plastic where the glass of the lantern is. And then our Magic Shop journal was done. I can't say that this has been time tested, and I'm also not like pulling it in and out of a bag. So I don't know how durable this would actually be, but if you're putting it in and out of a bag and it gets a little messed up, what is that? Free weathering. So here is our Magic Shop journal. nice doing a little bit of a different project. This is definitely in kind of the same realm. The first time that I've ever really customized a journal, so you learn as you craft. Maybe I say this every video. This is just so my style. I love magic, old-fashioned fantasy imagery. Ugh. I'm kind of an organized chaos sort of person. Like, there's too much going on, but it's always in order. Way too many ideas. My ideas form faster than me making things. If anyone makes something like this, if you customize your journal, heck, if you do journaling pages, I would love to see them. Just in case you want to continue the magic crafting experience, I am going to leave some links.